Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is me, Masafai, back with another video. Before I get started, I need y'all to help a brother out by hitting that like, comment, subscribe, and share if you like the content. Today, sorry I didn't get to make a video about enhancing my audio. I was up all night editing the video about installing my 30K, which was almost 2 hours of footage that I chopped down into like 40 minutes. So it takes a lot of time doing this stuff. So thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for understanding. I definitely got to get back in this Regal because I got to run the RCAs. I got to run the reverse camera. Got to run the remote. Got to run power wire. I got to get the fold down back seat. It's a lot of stuff I want to do and I have to do. I got a dynamo at the trunk, and the weather is starting to change, so I need to start hacking at it now before it gets too cold, and then I start really procrastinating at it. But the goal is to really get a system in this car before it gets too cold, and whatnot. So hopefully everything start going according to plan again, and I start hacking at it. I got a few more things to do to the Escalade before I take it back to my brother, because in the end we're going to pull out the entire system because we got to foam and dynamat the quarter panels. So we're going to do probably a triple layer of that. We have to work to see what we do because there's a triple layer of dynamat on the roof, and as you can see in some of the videos, the roof still flexes like crazy. So we're gonna make some extra plans there. I might put a couple of poles in there, boulder down, stripper poles and whatnot. So stay tuned for any future content for that. But overall, I wanted to come out here and at least give y'all a video, even though it's not a video about sounds and whatnot. I just wanted to have a conversation with y'all about some things. So as in the last few weeks and whatnot, I still go to therapy every 2 weeks. Everything is going pretty well. I have no complaints about nothing. I'm working on getting my security system installed on my house from a person I know. Good guy. Shout out to Ice. Um, and everything is just flowing smooth. UConn getting worked on. This UConn behind me will be next. Then they'll be working on getting sold. Like I said, I'll be messaging the people who's supposed to get them. And if they do, they get them. Cool. If not, I will broadcast them for sale. So I'm just piecing stuff together piece by piece and spending a lot of money. And that's another thing I wanted to talk to y'all about in the video. Money, or lack thereof, when it comes to Americans. Like, I know a lot of people, and I know a lot of people who are in pretty good positions, make pretty good money in various industries, from the big three to electrical to all types of fields out here. I know people who make a lot of money, and yet so many people I know seem to be living check to check or almost under check to check, meaning that they barely make it to the next check. And I just kind of be amazed sometimes that people can make so much income and they seem to find a way to blow it all. And the main thing I pay attention to, especially in American society, is too many people, which is the majority, seem to up their lifestyle to match and exceed what they bring in as far as their income. And a lot of people, income is not permanent, meaning if you work for the big three, they've been fluctuating for the longest as far as stability. they do so many random layoffs. Also, a lot of people also enhance their lifestyle based on the amount of overtime that they work for their jobs. And that money is not guaranteed because when the overtime stops, not if, when the overtime stops, you need to be able to live off of your base pay of 40 hours without overtime. You cannot make your monthly income exceed what you are making on overtime. When you're working 80 hours a week, that's 40 hours of overtime. You're making double of what you would normally make without overtime. So for the times you're getting paid, your 2 week checks is $5,000, $6,000. When you're back to regular time, that same 2 week check is going to be $2,000 to $2,500. You need to be able to make that work. Because if you're to sit there and make your lifestyle match your overtime income, you have made a grave mistake. That is finances 101. A lot of Americans need some type of basic financial literacy classes because it seems like for the majority to do it, it's a common problem. And I just don't get how something like that is so common. It just seems like everybody want to keep up with the Joneses. That's pretty much what it is. I mean, a lot of people who are either fashion junkies, car junkies, or they have to live and look a certain way. Majority of the people who work at Chrysler riding around in Hemis, Scat Packs, Hellcats, Grand Wagoneers, brand new Grand Cherokees, buying brand new houses for overpriced money right now. And the companies are still laying off. The overtime doesn't exist right now. Right now, Stellantis, they are not doing well as far as keeping staff. Tesla is not doing well as far as keeping staff. It's so many companies that is not doing well. I think Meta wasn't doing well. Maybe Amazon have issues. So many companies right now is not doing well when it comes to keeping employees working consistently because a lot of companies overhired during the pandemic. And now that is all the way past the pandemic, they still overpaying too many employees. So a lot of companies start doing permanent layoffs. I think Tesla had laid off over 10% of its workforce a few months ago. And the list gets bigger and bigger monthly. I've been hearing so much about Stellantis and whatever. So I'm pretty sure it's all of the big three, not just Stellantis. So, and you hear more and more about companies doing major layoffs and cutting hours and overtime and everything like that. And you hear the plight from so many of the people around me or that I know or know of that they're struggling or they're not doing well because they made adjustments to their lifestyle that exceed their regular monthly income. You can't sit there and depend on overtime to the point where that's your regular spending money. Overtime should be save, save money. So when a rainy day come, not if, when a rainy day come, you're prepared for it. We have a lot of people who live on too many ifs and not when. I look at stuff as when because it's only a matter of time. It's been from the 90s all the way until now. The big three has been unstable. These are not places to really retire from anymore. They've been forcing the older generation out for the longest, buying them out or firing them, whatever way they do. Almost every company out here is forcing anybody with 25 plus years, they forcing them out or they buying them out because they tired of paying them. They'd rather just pay them off, get them out the company. So nowadays, companies are not looking for long-time employees to make top dollar to retire from them. No, that's too costly for them. They don't want to pay pensions no more. They don't want to pay. They don't want to pay an employee $65 an hour on regular no more. that's where it's at now. So a lot of people need to start figuring out new methods or new ways of making money, because the days for most people for working a job for 30 years and retiring, those days have ended. For a generation, my generation from the 80s, even the 70s on up, working to retirement, not happening. That, honestly, in my opinion, ended for a lot of the people from the 60s on down. From the 70s on up, you got to figure out a new plan. Because the whole working to retirement thing, those days are over. There's not enough money in these jobs nowadays, just based on how all the cuts they've been making. The amount of inflation has mutilated the economy. As far as making, remember, it ain't been that long since. It's not even been a decade since we remember the protests of people fighting for $15 an hour. And now, $15 an hour is like $6 an hour. Making $20 an hour now in 2024 is laughable as far as being able to sustain a decent lifestyle for most people. If you have good money management skills, you can make it happen. But majority of Americans don't. So $15 is a big laugh, and it hasn't even been a decade since people were protesting simply for $15 an hour. Now, if you get a job starting off at $15 an hour, you like, no, I need more. That's not even minimum wage. And the thing is, that's still above minimum wage, well above minimum wage. But they flooded the economy with so much crap, and however they did it. I don't follow politics and all that. Economics rather. I don't follow all of that, so don't give me the line and trying to explain the technicalities of how inflation works. That ain't what I'm here about. I'm just saying, at the rate of inflation and at the rate of our hourly pay, they don't match. So that's why our hourly wage and money we make cannot keep up with the economy on a single person's income. It doesn't match no more. So us as Americans have to figure out alternative plans on how to make it, on how to do better, on how to get ahead. But majority of people don't work to get ahead. Majority of people work to get by because a lot of them have a lack of financial literacy and they have entitlement. A lot of people always want what they want and they refuse to make sacrifices to save money. I try to tell people all the time, at least if you work in a decent job, at least teach yourself how to save $10,000 cash. Outside of your 401k, we're not talking about, have a 401k. Don't touch it. Have bill money. Don't touch it. Have that savings account with that 10,000 in it. Don't touch it. And still have a little bit of play money around the house. I set standards like that because if things hit the fan where money stops coming in, I will at least be able to sustain myself, my bills, and my lifestyle for some time without worrying about it. That's how I look at life. I try to prepare for any rainy days in the future. You can hope for the best, but always stay prepared for the worst. That's been my mentality for the last 14 years. Hope for the best, but stay prepared for the worst. Because in life, there will always be rainy days. In life, there will always be hiccups. In life, there will always be bad times. In life, there will always be storms. In life, it always comes a time where you have to save yourself. People is not always going to be around to help get you out of your trouble or dig you out of your ditch because you made terrible financial decisions when you had the ability to save yourself 6 months prior if you only had predicted that you would need to save money. We're all adults. It's time for you to start acting like it. It's time for a lot of Americans to start acting more like adults. It's time for a lot of Americans to start moving with a I need to save myself mentality. No one's going to save me type of mentality. Like I said, today's generation is a large percentage of entitled individuals. It's people in this world who knows that no matter how much they screw up, someone's going to save them. Family member, friends, someone. Some people have that entitlement to where they always think and feel that someone's going to save them from their mistakes. We have a lot of people who think like that. It's going to get to the point where people cannot save you from your mistakes if you refuse to keep lacking the ability to save yourself. Start. It's time to grow up. That's just my specific words I choose to use. It's time for America and a lot of Americans to grow up. Start making the sacrifice that others make. If I make sacrifices to save my money in order to make sure that I'm well off, I shouldn't have to sacrifice large portions and quantities of my money to save so many other people who chose to do the opposite, who chose to blow all their finances, who chose to up their lifestyle to a certain level to where they couldn't maintain it, who chose to just not prepare for rainy days. It's on people to start working on saving themselves. You can't keep on relying on others to save you from your mistakes. And that's where I use the term entitlement, because a lot of Americans are entitled and think that someone owes them something. They think that the world owes them something. The world owes you nothing. We still have a lot of blacks fighting for reparations. I don't believe we're getting them. I'm not expecting them. I'm not looking for them. And you need to work on getting yourself to a nice position yourself comfortably on your own. Because if you're sitting there waiting for a handout from America, tell me, what's your success rate at that? How's that looking? They're they're already proven they ain't giving it. End of story. Get yourself out the hole. Go do for yourself. Stop being selfish. Start learning how to make the sacrifice to separate your wants from your needs. Start saving your own money. Start looking to build yourself out of your own problems as an adult in America in the year of 2024. That's today's conversation. Hopefully I didn't ramble too long. Hopefully y'all get the message. And I just try to I just try to help. I just try to help people have a better mindset about things. My mindset wasn't always on certain levels and certain terms. I'm still learning how to change my mindset on certain things. But I developed a disciplined mindset in certain areas, at least when it comes to finances, to make sure that I'm always able to save myself. That's always been my philosophy. That's where I got my name from, Emosify, because I've been living my life by me, myself, and I. And it's been like that for a long time. I haven't had the ability to depend on people for anything. Because when I did try to depend on people for it, they never had it. So I had to get it for myself, have it for myself, and keep it for myself. And I want a lot of people to start trying to develop the same mentality, in my opinion. This is me, Masify. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and y'all have a great day. Peace.